Yeah.
Dad always said to me, you got to be Grace Kelly on the outside and Tupac on the inside. And I really do live by that mantra. And I'm like, why are you wasting time worrying on something that might never happen?
Girl, stop apologizing. So like when I tell you to stop apologizing, it kind of comes from that. Although I think as women, we apologize too much, period, for no reason, but we just do it. It's just like something we do.
I just made myself a cup of tea, and there's like on these like yogi. Have you had I love yogi tea. I love it because of I love it because they have these little quotations on them. But this one says, be fearless, know that all will be provided at the right time. Good one, right?
It is a good one. And I feel like that's so true. I feel like for most of my life, I would say, I have rushed things and been like, oh, I need to make this happen, or it hasn't happened yet. Why? And as I have had more experience, I have really come to appreciate things happening in the way that they're supposed to and the time that they're supposed to, and just trusting that things are going to work out the way that they're supposed to, whether that's good or bad, just trusting, which is hard.
I have to say I've really lived my life with this thought process and mentality, because what I've noticed is when I push too hard, my expectations aren't met and I get disappointed. I get frustrated. But when I really do say the mantra, let go, let God, and there is a divine plan, and I have to show up with action, but then I just have to let the magic happen. Magic happens.
It does. And I feel like sometimes you can go down a path of forgetting that. And then once you take a minute, breathe. I think you meditate. I'm not good at that. I'm trying. I am actively trying to get better at it. But also just when you have those daily affirmations, which I think a lot of people laugh at because they're uncomfortable to say out loud, but you reset your mind and you remember what you're supposed to be doing and why. And there's so much power in that.
I totally agree.
It sounds silly to a lot of people, and I was one of those people. And the more that I research it, the more that I practice it, etc. Oh, I'm in. The universe has a plan.
It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
And I think that when a person is deep in the feeling, whether it's depression, whether it's, am I going to get this job? Am I going to have a house with a white picket fence and the husband and the kids? And you visually see people around you succeeding in whatever they want or need in their lives. I think we live in a comparison society, and it can be very soul destroying. But one thing I've noticed about the people that I surround myself with, they wake up early, they have mantras, they exercise, they meditate, they do all of the things, and they create abundance. And it feels like it's almost happening to them naturally. And it is to a certain extent, but they've put in the freaking hard work. They've put in those mantras when they've gone, this is freaking ridiculous. Like, who am I talking to? Let go, let God. What the, all of those things. And I feel like when you start doing it for yourself and then sharing it with others, like I say to people all the time, why are you worrying about this? Okay, 2 more minutes of worrying, 3 more minutes. I give people threes, everything in threes. I'm like, 3 more minutes of worrying about this bullshit, and then you got to be badass. Yeah. Dad always said to me, you got to be Grace Kelly on the outside and Tupac on the inside. And I really do live by that mantra. And I'm like, why are you wasting time worrying on something that might never happen? How about being a warrior versus a worrier? And people start to use this back at me now. I'm like, oh, Teddy, be a warrior, not a warrior. And I'm like, okay, now you're using my lines on me. Like, okay, fine. But planting seeds, little seeds, and letting them grow is the only way in which people will make small changes within themselves. We can't push anyone to change. They have to change by themselves if that's what they want,
Yeah, definitely.
even with Drew, like I've noticed so many changes in him, not like he's a changed man and that I'm changing him. It's just, I guess I've been an example. Like we say in Al-Anon, it's attraction versus promotion. So you're being the example and someone's watching you do that and they're like, never thought about doing it that way before. I'm going to try it that way. Let's see how that works. They try it and then it works for them. So then you have to let people think that they came up with the idea themselves by being the example. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense. You are basically taking my leadership teachings from the last however long I've been in leadership and saying them out loud right now, where the incremental changes seem really small and inconsequential as they're happening, but the more you kind of get the momentum, they become something really huge. And you look back and you're like, wow, what did I do that changed who I am, maybe fundamentally as a person, maybe not. And then also when you're trying to shape something, whether it's human behavior, business, strategy, whatever the case may be, anytime you force something on somebody, it will be rejected.
100%.
Period.
It's actually like religion. If you try and ram religion down someone's throat, trust me, they're going to turn around and run in the opposite direction.
Yes.
We need to plant seeds and seeds of example and seeds of courage and seeds of how we are and how we show up in the world. Because if we're the best version of ourselves, that is attractive and people want that.
Okay, let's transition topics to food and habits.
I mean, I think I shared my story about Dunkin' Donuts with you. I don't know if we can mention Dunkin' Donuts. Drew likes to do that on a Saturday morning, and that's fine. You do you. Whatever you want to do. That's the 20% of our 80-20. But don't ask me to eat them and don't put them around me, because that is like giving a heroin addict heroin. And smart ass here was like, okay, I'm going to try it. It'll be fine. It's just a tiny little donut hole. You know, the holes in the donut, they sell them. I'm like, I'll just have a couple. Turned into 3. 1, 3, 9. Started to do the mental thing in my head. No, I'm okay. It's going to be fine. And well, because I called you and I was like, I'm having a breakdown. Saturday night, I was a monster. Drew was looking at me like, what did you do? And I was like, honey, it's the food. I can't do that. My body had a reaction.
For sure. Well, it's interesting that like once you start to exercise and treat your body a little bit differently, how things kind of flow. And I'm curious, like I've heard you mention Model Fit and I've heard you mention Pilates and yoga, a little bit of light weights, but like, what is it? I want to know what it is.
Well, I wear ankle weights all the time because so many of my
Are you wearing them now?
Dude, I actually am. I'm so embarrassed. Look at this. Wait, can you see?
Yeah. Oh,
I have 2 sets on.
Perfect.
I have 2 sets. I've got my pink ones and my black ones. So I've got like 3 pounds of weight on my feet right now. And I'll show up to like an ice hockey match in my Swedish clogs, my ankle weights and some, but and Drew's just like, well, that's just Teddy.
Yeah.
It's just, especially when I'm training, I will use them. When I'm running, I will also use them. And when I'm doing my Ballet Beautiful, I will also do them. It just gives, if you're giving yourself a little bit more weight in that area, your body has to work harder. Your body is actually firing up to strengthen the muscles. And I have a condition which you know about called lymphoma. And one of the side effects from lymphoma is muscle degeneration. So the muscles can get depleted, the muscles can disintegrate. And then if that happens, the next diagnosis could be osteoporosis, which unfortunately my mother is living with right now. And I do not want to go through that. So I work really, really hard on my body and it's non-negotiable. However, it started as a mental thing. It started all about mental health for me.
The weights or the workout program?
Weights and workout.
Okay. Yeah.
Was always about my mental health. And what's actually happened to me from a mental aspect, my mental health has just expanded so vastly. And for me, the side effect from my mental health is I'm creating this incredible vessel and temple that I really love now. I didn't love my body or myself growing up. In fact, I absolutely hated myself. I looked in the mirror and I saw this huge fat blob and I was stick thin. But that's because my mental health was not good. You know, I'd been abused. I'd been mentally, physically, spiritually abused growing up since the age of 4. And then as I entered the workplace, the abuse continued. I think that predators definitely seek out and feel the energy of someone that has been abused. So you're almost like a target. And in our industry, as we've previously discussed, our industry, it was rife with those types of people.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, those little devils have to go somewhere, and I guess we've hidden them in the entertainment industry for the longest time, and we've actually idolized these people and given them a platform quite unconsciously, and it has been so painful to watch people get so sucked into this whole world of celebrity. And yeah, it's quite frightening actually. When I was watching a little bit of John Williams's documentary last night, I only got 2 or 3 minutes in because I was like, I can't watch this without Drew. It's just too beautiful and too perfect. And it was that I was getting very emotional because I didn't grow up with TV. And you know, when we did get the opportunity to watch a movie or something like that, it would be at my grandma's house, or it would be at a friend's house, or whatever it would be, you know, or I would go to the movies with Dad, and it was just, I remember the sounds, the songs, and just the feeling I had was just so pure. Someone actually mentioned that they would listen to the Star Wars theme tune or the soundtrack in their head with their headphones on, and would just literally stare at the Star Wars poster in their bedroom and go somewhere. I related to that so much because for me, music is absolutely everything. It's how I've gotten through abuse. It's how I've gotten through depression. It's how I've gotten through life. It's how I've gotten through working out. It's how I bring myself down from a chute where I'm so high in the clouds. I'll use frequency to bring me back down and ground me. I've used music to get myself to another place through meditation as well. I do sound baths, I love sound baths. I do my own and I attend others. And it's just, music and sound is just so beautiful and so pure if it's the right frequency and it's the right hertz. I think it's how you say hertz, HZ. And I believe that, you know, incredible composers like John Williams and Hans Zimmerman, who I'm just obsessed with, and I just think those guys use a frequency that is just, it's so godlike, it's so out of this world, it's so spiritual. It's like having a spiritual experience. And I don't know what I would do without music.
Yeah.
I really
Well, one of the things that we could do through Spotify, which is the platform that we're using to record and everything, is there's a spot for us to include our playlists in our podcast. So maybe
that's very cool.
We should kind of curate.
Well, I have a playlist that's 44 hours and 44 minutes. And I don't know why the total adds up to that.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence? Probably not. But I've curated this ever since I bought iTunes, or I bought an iPhone.
Yeah.
So I've been curating this playlist for many, many years now. And it's called Teddy Finds Peace All Around the World. So I've been finding like literally different frequencies and sound bites and all of that, and I've collected them. And it can be from, if you're wanting to do like a Reiki healing, or you're trying to get pregnant and you want to create a very sacred womb ceremony, or you want to do a sound bath, or you want to rest but you don't want to sleep. And that's very different. You can be rested and not be sleepy. You can also have music that will put you to sleep. But mine is very refreshing, and it's very like, wait, what just happened? Did I just go to a spa but I don't feel tired? Did I just do a workout? You know what I mean? It's very, very curated frequency numbers. So like I love to do 999, 369, 414, you know, all of the different types of frequencies that I really love, ones that are for the heart. I've curated it so that it is really it brings joy.
Yeah.
But I'm always making playlists. I mean, me and Shotgun have a playlist. I have a playlist with some friends, you know what I mean? It's so nice to listen to those playlists and then like have those memories of people or where you were or what, you know what I mean? I just think it's just so beautiful. Music connects people on a very, very deep level.
Yeah. Mine is, I guess, deep to me. But I mean, I have several playlists too. Tom and I have one. We have a workout one. We have a back patio one. We have all sorts of playlists, but the one that I use to kind of pump myself up or change my mindset are just songs across many years that just make me happy.
Yes.
So sometimes I have punk rock, I have country, I have pop, I have all sorts of stuff on there, and they're just songs that make me happy. Most of them are from a period or a point in time that I can very specifically point to. This moment, this time period, etc. And they're just songs that make me happy. I don't have anything deep. I do listen to a focus playlist when I'm working or really trying to concentrate. But really, mine are just songs from all genres, you know, just make me happy.
I'm going to share my Teddy Finds Peace Around the World because it's really cool. I also have an ascension playlist, which is when I'm preparing my body for an ascension, whether it's me actually leaving my physical body when what we call death, but also what I would like to be played when I do leave my body and we have a celebration of my life. Because my dad curated a playlist his entire life and was like, make sure you play these things. And one of the songs that Dad had when he was going into the oven was Highway to Hell by AC/DC. I mean,
but that probably made him happy thinking about that moment.
I laughed so freaking hard, as did my mum, and we were like sniggering and laughing because it was just so Dad getting his last laugh, you know, and I'm looking around the room and my other siblings were just like giving me daggers and stuff, but I just thought it's just so typical of my dad. You know, my dad was very humorous. He was very, very funny man, you know, and he always said to me from a very young age, do not stand by my grave and weep. What a waste of time. Just have good memories, you know. I also have an amazing playlist that Shotgun and I've got going, and it's a lot of his rap music that he used to rap to when he was young, and he still does it now. But just, you know, really cool, fun music. But if I miss him, I just put that playlist on and it just makes me laugh because I'm just thinking of him. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, listening to the playlist. He goes, so am I, you know, That's cute.
Great. It connects you. Yeah. Yes. Well, so we got off on a tangent.
We did get off on a tangent. I'm sorry about that. But I'm also going to put a little one of these on because I'm a little sweaty today. I don't know why. Keeping it real.
Oh, I do. I used to have those things.
This is the one by Rihanna. It's Fenty. Fenty Beauty. I really like it because it's like a little tiny little thing with a mirror.
You just pull it out.
And then you just pull it out however much you need.
Yeah.
And then you rip it. And it's
like
just
parchment paper.
I know, it's so cute.
But it's
you know what else?
Tiny.
Another little hack for you, all you ladies out there. If you do not have blotting papers when you're out for a night out, guess what the best blotting paper is? And it's not tissue from the bathroom.
What is it?
You know the toilet seat covers?
Oh, yeah.
Rip a piece of that. It is the best blotting paper you will ever use. And it's free.
Life hack.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I mean, you're welcome.
Yeah. I love it.
I can't remember who taught me that. Someone taught me that, but I can't remember who it was.
Well, whoever it was, thank you.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah.
It was a model, but I can't remember who it was. But
There's
it was
somebody
genius.
that's going to be like, it was me, Campbell.
No, I know, right? It wasn't, it definitely wasn't me, but I have shared it with multiple people, but someone did it in a bathroom, either in a nightclub or somewhere.
Yeah.
I keep getting Kate Moss in my head, but I'm not sure if it was. That was another bathroom situation.
Yeah. What is that bathroom situation? Do tell.
Do I want a fag? And that meant, do you want a cigarette?
Cigarette, yeah.
But I was very young. Mm-hmm. I was very scared, that fashion show. I was very, very young. I think I was 14 or 15. Yeah.
Did she kind of give you comfort?
I couldn't believe that Kate Moss was talking to me.
Yeah. And she wasn't like, get it together. She was kind of offering comfort. And she was
like, what do you need? Do you need something? And I was just like, I don't know. I'm going to be mute right now because you're Kate Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
legend.
I don't think it was a toilet seat, the toilet seat covers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we did get off on a tangent and I apologize.
Yeah, so you were talking about model fit and
yes.
I just want to know more about what it is. And you were talking about like the ankle weights, but I think that that's like a trend. I actually I don't have ankle ones, but I think I have put them on my ankles before, but I have hand ones. And so when I walk, I just, I do a lot of walking, and I have always done a lot of walking, like, especially if I'm in the office and I have like 20 minutes before the next meeting. I'm like, I want to get outside and just get my mind going.
It's so good for you.
It is so good for you.
Yeah.
And I've done that for my entire career. So like a lot of people are watching this and they've ever worked at the same company in the same building as me, and they see me just cruising around, sometimes singing to that playlist, sometimes most of the time if I'm at work and I'm taking those 20 minutes, typically I can usually do a little over, like I usually, if I'm fast, I'll do like 16 minutes for a mile walking. But if I'm in the office, I don't want to sweat, so I go a little slower. So 20 minutes is about right for a mile. And if I'm at work, I listen usually to a self-help book of some kind. Like I just remember at one of my past employers, they had multiple buildings, and I would just walk around and listen to Rachel Hollis's Girl, Stop Apologizing. So like when I tell you to stop apologizing, it kind of comes from that. Although I think as women, we apologize too much, period, for no reason, but we just do it. It's just like something we do. But anyway, like that was one of the books that I really clearly remembering, and it just changed my life in a lot of ways.
We should share that on we can link that.
Yeah.
I want to know about that one too.
Yeah, that's a great one. And, a lot of times when you're listening to something that's kind of self-help like that, you want to enjoy it and not put you to sleep. And Rachel Hollis is a great one for that. But anyway, so weighted vests. I know, I would love to. She's amazing.
That would be incredible.
Our aspirations. So I would use hand weights mostly, but a lot of people I know, especially in my neighborhood, being in Colorado, a very outdoors fit place, wear those weighted vests when they walk and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've been wanting one forever, and then anytime my birthday or Christmas rolls around and my mom asks me what I want, or, my Tom doesn't ask me what I want, he's like, here's the gift that I think you should have. But I want a weighted vest, and it's not something I would indulge in and spend on my own. So is there one specifically that you've seen that you know that you want, or you just want a weighted vest? No, just any. Like I'm sure that there are some really good ones. I haven't really done a ton of research, but there's so many benefits to it. Like you said, you add resistance to walking or whatever, and you build your muscles in a much different way. It just adds kind of that endurance factor.
Absolutely. And you don't even know you're doing it. That's the thing. Like I also wear ankle weights in the swimming pool. So what feels harder when I'm out, like I do a lot of the arm circles backwards and forwards, and then the rotator cuff ones. But if I'm doing it in the water with my ankle weights on my wrists, I don't feel the strain as much. It doesn't, it's not that it hurts, because it doesn't hurt. It's just like you're going, oh my God, I've got 30 to do. Like I do everything in 3, so I do 3 sets of 10, so I do 30 of each, and by the time I'm like 27, 28, I'm like, oh, this is burning. But if I do it in the water, completely different experience. I think it's because we're buoyant, and the water takes a lot of the weight and the pressure, but you're still getting that weight. Your heart rate is crazy in the water, but your body feels buoyant and amazing. And I've seen people who drop a little. Usually by the end of 90 days or 3 months, you have not only reprogrammed your body, but it's now a habit, and it's something that you love to do, and it's part of your routine now. And you won't not do it anymore. That's what happened with the ankle weights. I think that I will genuinely tell people, yes, it worked for me, or no, it didn't work for me, and this is why it didn't work for me. But it doesn't mean to say it's not going to work for someone else. You know what I mean? Like I've tried multiple CMOS products, and the ones that work the best for me is Dr. Lance's. Yeah. It just is. I've tried multiple pine needle extracts. Again, the one that works for me is Dr. Lance. Do you think that's because his products are clean and, I think with Lance, he has got such pure intention. He does not care about making paper money. It's not about that for him. His spiritual wealth is, he's a gazillionaire. And it's just so humbling to watch a person that just wants to make people healthy and well. You know, I'm really excited to talk with him. I know I just had a conversation with him last night, and we've got so many incredible projects happening, me and him anyhow. He is my first phone call. when it comes to medical stuff. And I have, I've done it multiple times. I'm like, well, because I'm like, I literally sent this to Dr. Lance, and he was like, get up.
Well, that just happened literally yesterday.
Yes.
With my medical experience. And you were like, I'm going to talk to Dr. Lance. I'm going to get you the right language. So the next time I was getting a mammogram, and you had advised like, hey, like instead of doing the mammogram, can they just do the ultrasound? Which in my case, they do both anyway. So I asked, I pushed harder, I asked more, and they ultimately, I would honestly say they forced me to have the mammogram.
Yeah.
And, I tried, but you had said, your first resource to go is to be like, I'm going to get you the right language to say so that doesn't happen to you again. And it was Dr. Lance that was going to provide that.
Well, I think that it's definitely on Joe Rogan's podcast when he had Callie and Cassie Means on. I was so mind blown by what Cassie said that I had to stop it, rewind it, and play it again and again and again, because I just could not believe what I was listening to. And she said that she never once realized in all the years at Harvard and all of the things that she studied as a university medical doctor, was she ever told that she could legally write a prescription to send someone to a gym.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about that.
And it's completely legal.
Yes.
And it's completely available to every single human being on this planet, but it's not promoted.
If they go to a gym and they get healthy, they're not going to need medicine.
Correct. And I would love to get Callie and Cassie on at some point to really talk about that and really integrate that information, because I was driving and I was listening to their podcast or listening to Joe, and I paused it like multiple times. I was like, I can't get my head around this. Like, how is it that we have all of these things available to us and it's in fine print, yet not a single doctor will talk to you about diet or exercise, yet they can prescribe you a gym membership.
Yeah.
Literally. And by law, the gym of your choice has to abide by that. It's a prescription.
Yeah. Mind blown. It's so fascinating. And I feel like not only is it a challenge for them to know that they can prescribe that, but you also have the mindset of people in America, I would say mostly, if not exclusively, who would take that prescription and be like, thanks, I don't have time for this.
I know.
I would argue, having been somebody who has been in corporate America in high level, high stress jobs, you have the time. And it's just, how do you make it? Corporate America is inherently sedentary, and you are sitting. Maybe you have a standing desk, but you're still standing still. If you're really lucky, you have either like the stationary bike or the treadmill.
Yeah.
If you're really lucky, you might have that. You're inherently sedentary. You have 8+ hours straight of meetings where maybe you have to be on video, so you really have to sit still, which as you can see is a struggle for me. I constantly move. I'm like that. But anyway, it's inherently sedentary. You are booked nonstop with meetings where you're on video and you have to be poised and you can't move and you can't like stretch my red leggings. You can't stretch. You can't do anything. So corporate America makes it so difficult to be able to exercise. Like I said, in 20-minute increments, I might go outside and just do a quick walk and come back and do more meetings if I have the time. But most people, I feel like, would take that prescription and be like, I don't even have time for this. Like, thanks, cool, but I don't have time. And I don't think that that's true. I feel like, for me at least, I used to enjoy working out in the evenings, but it's so easy to get busy or overwhelmed or tired or stressed and be like, not today. And then you have not today, not today, not today. I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but getting up early sucks. That's a common opinion, actually. That's not the uncommon opinion. Getting up early sucks, but getting up early is the only way you can guarantee you are going to get that workout in. So if that prescription is provided to you, find a way to get to yes. Take that prescription to heart and find a way to work it in. If the mornings are too crazy, too stressful, maybe every time you leave the room, you're doing 5 squats. Every time you re-enter the room, you're doing 5 squats, or,
Sure.
you know, a 10-second plank or a 20-second plank. Like there's ways to work it in.
I just think we make excuses, and America is innately lazy, and I'm probably going to get crucified for saying that, but it doesn't matter that whether you're American or not. We are innately lazy as humans because everything is just given to us on a plate. Everything is insta this, insta that. You know, that's just how it is. And there is no quick fix to getting a body that you're proud of and that you're happy to live in, and all of that stuff, you know.
Unless you're on Ozempic or GLC-1 or whatever it's called, that's your quick fix. But
I know.
We won't even go into that.
That is a subject that we will definitely have to go into, because I was accused of taking Ozempic, which I almost fell off my chair laughing, because I was like, well, you clearly don't know me as a human, because first of all, if I have a headache, I take a cayenne pepper shot. I put a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, literally cayenne pepper, into a glass of water. I shake it up and I shoot it like a shot. Instantly, my headache's gone. Maybe within 20 minutes, I've got no headache. And I do it with Drew now. Drew could not believe that worked.
I will. Next time I have a headache, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be trying that.
It's not the easiest thing to do. And I always tell people to start.
Is a shot of alcohol an easy thing to do? No, but people do it anyway. It's gross, but they still do it.
But that's the thing. There's that, but it's alcohol, but it's cayenne pepper. It's like, well, so there's poison or there's a plant.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I just love that there's a natural solution to that I hadn't heard of until I actually physically saw you do that recently.
Yeah.
And I, from time to time, will get headaches, and I suffer through them because I don't want to take anything. I'm not big on
suffer
medicine.
Anymore.
Yes. So
you don't have to suffer anymore.
I don't want a headache, to be clear, but I know eventually I'll get one.
Sure.
And when I do, I'm going to FaceTime you and be like, watch me take this.
You know what? Most of the time, the reason we get headaches is because we're so dehydrated. Even if we drink so much water, a lot of people think that it's just a headache. It's generally from dehydration. So I always encourage people to sip water through the day. The first thing you should be doing when you wake up in the morning is drink a glass of water. That will help, obviously, to move everything around. It doesn't have to be hot water and lemon or water and lemon, just plain old-fashioned water, but one that doesn't come out of the taps of New York City, ones that is either filtered or, you know, we have these incredible little machines. I forget the name of them, like Ion or something like that. Drew and I both have them. And it's basically hydro water. So you press the button and it will go blue, and it will turn it into this sort of hydrated or oxygenated water. I don't really know what it does. I'll have to come back and look at that properly, but again, incredible. It's totally changed my workouts as well. And we both drink one of those each, and then, you know, things are moving around as you should.
Right, which is good. You want that in the morning. I wake up most days, I wouldn't say every day because I feel like that would be disingenuous, but I will wake up and I will drink electrolyte drink. So hydration, clean.
Yeah. Which one are you using?
I use Plexus Hydrate. They've got 3 different flavors, all clean, plant-based. Incredibly good products, but I've been using that since they came out with it a couple of years ago, and it's changed my hydration entirely. So you're starting out with a hydrated foundation, and you're getting, you know, the salt and the electrolytes and things like that your body needs to replenish your hydration. And then I'm drinking all day long.
Me too.
Constant.
I'm exactly the same. I'm hydrating all as much as I can. And I'm a very liquids-based person anyway. Like I love smoothies, I love soups, you know, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, let's transition topics to girlfriends and girl squads.
I was telling my mum the other day about all the girls, like, you know, I was saying about you and Jen, and then my other girlfriend Jen and Alina, and just all my little girls. I was just like, I cannot wait to get every single one of these incredible human beings together, and I'm going to do it. We're going to make a plan. We'll do a retreat. Everyone's coming. It's non-negotiable. It will be maybe 3 days max, and it's just going to be so profound. And then my mum turned around to me and she said to me, I mean, who do you think you are? Taylor Swift? You've got a girl squad. I was like, I'm freaking Taylor Swift. I've prayed to have girlfriends my entire life.
Yes.
And now I have a girl squad. I am
awesome.
I'm basically Taylor Swift. I'm
it's
Swiftie.
The best. Yes.
Teddy Swiftie.
Teddy Swiftie. I love it.
And these girls, including you and Jen, would cut a bitch.
You know I would. You've seen it in action.
I have seen it in action because you literally had my ass. You and Jen literally had my ass.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
We don't listen to people talk shit about us. That we don't stand for that. And if we need to take care of business, we will take care of business.
Oh, and you did. And you did. And I really didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry. I was like, don't worry, I handle it. I didn't even want you to know. And then Tom's like, oh, blah, blah. I'm like,
yeah, I know, but I didn't really know. I didn't know what was going on in that moment.
It was handled.
I had no idea what was going on.
Well, I didn't want to share because they were saying mean, unnecessary things, and I didn't want you to have to hear that. But
and I didn't. The thing is, honestly,
mouth.
Michelle, I would tell you, I didn't hear anything. I didn't know that anything was going on. I was completely tuned out. And I do that a lot, especially when I feel insecure or feel like something's threatening. And I think I remember just saying to Drew, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. And then he followed me to the bathroom and was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? And then he was like, and then Tom was outside going, well, these girls. And I'm like, what is going on? I really had no idea.
Good.
So once again, my queens, they took care of business.
I always will.
I look like a floating pea head.
You look like a gorgeous floating whatever.
What did I say earlier on? Peanut head.
Peanut head, yeah. I think you look great.
Thank you.
I feel like in this conversation alone, we had so many really great nuggets that people can take away.
Yes.
And apply to their lives. And
I agree.
We want to continue doing that. And we want to empower people and make it feel like life can be so overwhelming. It truly can. And, you know, I think I can speak for myself in my life as a working parent and, you know, all of these things going on. Sometimes you just need one small thing that can make a big difference in your life. For me, today, cayenne pepper shot. But we talked about so many other things. You know, Model Fit, you talked about weights, you know, using weights in different ways. We talked about Girl Stop Apologizing, all sorts of good nuggets today.
I know. And I feel like this is how we're going to flow because honestly, I dreamt my whole life. I prayed my whole life for girlfriends like you and Jen and Alina. Abby is one of my greatest teachers, you know. I prayed for this my whole entire life. And if you take nothing from the Wellnest podcast, know that me and Michelle genuinely want to be in your girl squad.
Yes.
And we want to be that place where you can come to and be like, where am I going to get some real, genuine, kind girls? No stabbing behind the backs, none of this nonsense. You know, they've got really good resources. They've got really good guests. They talk about great topics. They're real. They're raw. They wear, you know, crazy pants.
That's right. I got red leggings on today.
And my ankle weights. You know, it's just real and raw.
Yeah.
And then, you know, most of the time it's going to be just us talking and just unpacking and being real and basically what we talk about all the time when we call each other.
Yes, exactly.
And we're like, oh my God, that could have been on the podcast.
We should have recorded that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Michelle is my source for a lot of things and I'm very, very blessed and very lucky. You guys, you are welcome that you get to share my Michelle too.
Yes, you're very welcome.
You are welcome.